Hi all, I'm going to take you through presentation skills, something which is really relevant in today's world to take you across the career, your entire career. Usually it is said that presentation skills are required for your job, but no, jobs are just one segment, one destination for you. You have a whole journey to cross and there's an entire career that you need to plan. Well, throughout your schooling, throughout your graduation and post-graduation, you've been trained through presentation skills. But what I'm right now going to take you through are some killer presentation skills. So let's just roll by. Well, the first presentation rule that I'm going to take you through is by Guy Kurzweil. Just one more click here. That's the 10-20-30 rule. Sounds a little spicy? Yes, that's true. So it just goes by a very small cliche wherein then you need to carry 10 slides. Understand, we all have a lot of anxiety, but really, does the anxiety really make me anxious? No, only because I'm prepared. I know what I need to talk and I just need to cater to just 10 slides, nothing more. Now, the second part of the rule is that though there are 10 slides, but I need not take more than 20 minutes. So, if I stand for my job, 20 years of age, I'm just presenting 20 slides and they're giving me tension, stress, worry, a lot of hanky-panky. So, do you think that's worthwhile? Of course not. The third point, you cannot be. Now, what we're going to do here is, what we're implying here is a minimum formula. So, the presentation should not carry less than 10 slides. That's one. Your presentation should not be less than 20 minutes. That's part 2. Well, the third and the moving towards the climax for this very slide. So that's you cannot carry your text less than 30 in size. If it is less than 30, believe you me, your audience will be there as spectators. They'll not interact. They'll not feel like interacting with you. Why? Because it's all what you show is all what they're going to believe in. All that you're going to explain is exactly what they're going to understand and learn from you. And if you're not following these 3 formula, one step by step, you're going to miss it with them. Well, moving across, let's move to the next slide. You've got to be entertaining. Really? Why do I need to entertain people? They are already here, entertained enough by themselves, and they thought they were bored, and they thought that they should come up for a session with you, right? So why do you need to be entertaining? Any answers that your heart can knock out to you at the moment? I'm sure, a little though. Well, just to take you through, you would need to be entertaining because a normal human being, a person of average mindset, does not have a lot of attention and concentration for anything going by. No matter how many information get, how large your information get could be. So therefore, you need to be entertaining to keep them agog to you. We all understand that they're movies, right? But how many of us are really agog to the 3-hour movie that we are going to pay every penny for? We aren't interested, right? So if you need to get the interest of the audience, exactly as I told, you need to be a little more entertaining. Reason being, we'll just disclose that in the further slides. Well, to take you across, people across the nation, across the globe, are into such a fast-paced life, but still you need to slow down. Why so? Again, you put on your thinking cap. Well, if you still can't figure out the answer, I'll just tell you something out here. So you need to slow down because the amount of text that has gone into making the presentation, into delivery of the presentation, into interaction of your speech and your content, the other people have no clue about it. Believe you me, have no clue about it. So therefore, you need to slow down according to the pace of their understanding rather than the pace of your speech. You might be over-prepared, you might be the best and the expert in your topic, but are they the best listeners to you? Are they the best audience to you? So you need to go along with them rather than you get asking them to race up with you. Right? So take it slow, but take it sure. That's the mantra for this slide. Let's move across. Now the eye contact. Now we all are into making an eye contact early in the morning. If you are into not making an eye contact, now there are two things. One, that you are being a little ignorant. You're not confident. Or that you are just stuck with your eye contact with one particular person in the audience. So that makes the other person believe that you might slightly saying so very interested in them. So always ensure that you maintain a very formal eye contact with everybody in the audience. Everybody means that if you have 20 people as your audience, you've got to maintain an eye contact with 20 eyes? No, it's 40, that's right. So you've got to maintain a 40 eye contact with everybody in the audience with a size of 20. And just understand the significance of presentation skills, which you have to take up to, let's say there's an audience of 1,000, 500, we know the extremely good presentators as Obama, Prime Minister Obama of USA, the former Prime Minister, we have Donald Trump, we have Prime Minister Modi. Look at their power of speech. Is it that they speak for themselves? No, they speak for the audience. So you've got to maintain an eye contact so that everybody is in you, everybody is following you, they are with you on every word that you speak. And remember, body language speaks louder than your words. Let's roll by. There are a few things that I would like to share. You need to smile and ensure that it's a very genuine smile, nothing fake, nothing that you're trying to hide your anxiety with. You got to maintain an eye contact, a steady eye contact. It's not something that I'm maintaining an eye contact here and I'm stuck here for 15 minutes and I across. No, it's got to be rolling all 180 degree, not 360 of course. Do not lock your arms, because the more you do, you more are stuck for an eye contact with a single person. Don't keep your knees locked up, something like that. That gives you more of a averted look. Hold your head high up. Of course, you haven't done anything that is going to spoil people around you. Keep on moving, both into your minds, into the minds of the audience, and of course, into your body as well. Connect with the audience, breathe and keep yourself relaxed. The more stressed you are, the audience doors closes gradually. Well, with this, let's move to the next slide. Okay, now, since much had been said, always ensure that you're making a 10-word summary. Now, this is really significant because not everybody is following you. Everybody is wandering in their own thoughts, in their own castles of minds. So, always ensure that every 3-4 slides, you are summarizing whatever had been told. This makes your presentation a bit more effective. Let's roll by. And there's a 20-20 rule. Now, if I say that yes, there are an audience of 20, I need to sound only for 20 minutes and then I'm going to invite questions. If I do not do that, people might think that I've just done a speech delivery rather than sharing a presentation. So what is going to differentiate between the two is my 20-20 rule. That yes, I can always expect I as a presentator, as an effective and a successful presentator, not only me, but the content that I'm delivering, I have to ensure that there are delivery of 20-20, that if I deliver 20 points, I should expect 20 questions. If not, at least the half of them. If that's not the case, just consider a thumbs down for yourself. Well, let's move again. Okay. Now, many of us are just into carrying a lot of text. Now, why does that happen? Because we feel underprepared. We feel ill confidence. We are ill at ease, right? We run short of confidence when we should not. We are so very confident when we are arguing with people on the road. But when it comes to making a presentation, oh my God, we have sweat in our palms. Our feet go numb. So many things. And what we do is last resort that we want to stand in front of the audience and we start reading the text that we get. Never make your presentations highly textual. Because if you can read, so can your audience. Why will they listen to you? Is your presentation relevant that way? Of course not. Let's roll by. You've got to be a storyteller. Why do you want to be a storyteller? You know why? Because the audience always enjoys a lot of stories, right from their childhood to the moment here. They've been listening stories from their grandmoms, their nannies, their people around, their neighbors. They themselves are into building their stories through imagination. Now, if I'm not an excellent storyteller, I'm not an effective presentator. So if you can weave fabric of words and you can really keep people into the web of your words, yes, you can do it. Then you are an effective presentator. Well, now since there are a few more things still into my kit and I won't let you go before them, before I finish with them, so just a few more things. Now project your voice. It's very easy to talk normal, isn't it? Why is that interesting? Do you really feel entertained talking to somebody or listening to somebody that you always thought they've been doing it? No. So therefore, you need to make your voice. Just understand that the few celebrities that can be both national and international, and they project their voice whenever they are into delivering some audio video. Always remember that presentation skills are platform skills. So once you talk about the platform, your audience is live sitting before you. You might not even notice. You might be looking there and somebody from this end might be video shooting you, maybe for a minute or for a few seconds. They can quickly podcast you, broadcast on WhatsApp and other social media. What are you going to do with yourself? So just try to sound as effective as it could be. So project your voice. You might not try to sound like someone, but ensure that you sound interesting and formal. Okay, now many of us say that you really need to plan, but what should I do? All plans fail. So do I plan to fail or does my plan fail? So there are two things out here. Now if I plan, now do I need to plan for everything during presentation? To an extent, yes, but I can just plan 80%. 20% is still again dependent upon the kind of audience that I have, the size of the audience, the temptation of the audience to listen to me, the timing, the duration of the audience. Audience would like to share their time with me. So that's again really significant. But always remember that everything cannot be planned, and cannot stands in capital and bold here. So if I want people to really talk sense to me and I would like to deliver sense to them, I've got to understand that you cannot plan everything. So plan and not plan, and be ready for both. That yes, if your plan A works, so and so would be the consequence. If plan B works, so and so would be the consequence. And what if both of them do not? So you should be ready with plan C. Well, since we have a few of the things which we didn't thought we would happen, so just always appreciate questions. Now, since everything cannot be planned, everything can be expected at that moment very randomly, you've got to appreciate questions that come from the audience. You would have thought your audience is really agile. You would have thought your audience to be highly enthusiastic. You would have thought your audience to be informed about a particular content pre-handed, but that was not the case. You got some other information onto your presentation. They didn't find it interesting and they had their own set of questions. Therefore, they would raise certain questions to you. Now, there are certain people who would say, okay, I do not think that's a relevant question. On the other hand, it could be. I would say, yes, I'm glad that you raised the question. Enthuse a healthy competition. It should not be that, yes, if you stand there as a presenter, you are an expert on the subject. You might not know everything, but always say that I really like your question. I'm really fond of your questioning ability. I'm really thankful to raise this perspective to this topic. These could be some of the positive modes to otherwise negatively interpreted rhetorical questions, right? Let's move across. Okay, now this is a very common failure. Many of us see high. They are really sighing for some kind of a relief that yes, my job is over and I can just get back and sit with the audience. I really want to run away from the situation. I really want to escape all the questions. I do not want to face this audience anymore. And if yes, there had been this 10, 20, 30 rule that I had been following, so I should be back to my seat. And perhaps it was something like a race to them, that from the audience seat to the seat to this moment that you stand here in front of them, you really would feel like to going back to them. So what they do is they are always breathing in, breathing out very heavily. Never ever do that. You've got to practice a lot of meditation, because if your audience can hear you breathe, imagine the kind of situation it would be for you. And because first impression is the last impression, always ensure that you're breathing in and breathing out at the same pace, at the same pitch. If you go wrong here, believe you me, all what you're going to say is going to go all down the drain. Okay, just to avoid that, there's just one tip that I would like to share with you. You've got to come early. Do you know why? So that you can stand before the audience just by imagining them. Now, my audience never thought that they could be imagined, right? But I had the power of visualization. And why did I practice? Because if I am going to stand as a leader of that particular content or a topic to them, I really need to rehearse. Well, if you're going to come early, just ensure that everything is there in the order. And before you make an anxious presentation, let's be pretty more confident and prepared, which can happen only with this formula. Okay, many of us say that you've got to rehearse, practice, practice. Sounds boring? Yes. None of us have time. We all are trying to be the last minute managers, the 1 minute managers that we've been reading through. But then do believe that none of the celebrities, our celebrities, could have been one if they would not have made a lot of rehearsals and practice either to their dance performances or their singing performances or for anything best that you had seen on the screen. And just understand that we all are dressed perfectly well because why? We are there on the stage. We are there who are playing the most principal part for them, and we would like people to be prepared. We are trying to be their role models. Now, if I do not practice, whom I'm digging the grave for? For myself or for the audience? The answer is true, which is both. So always ensure that you practice enough before you stand before the crowd. Well, I come towards the last tip out here. It's both a tip and of course a closure and an evaluation. So all that you learned in the last 15 minutes, do you get something from this presentation? And if yes, so then my presentation has been successful. The similar logic would go for you as well, that yes, if your presentation carries something for the audience, something really extraordinary, they didn't imagine at all that they could get it served from you. So believe that yes, if your audience gets the answer, what's in it for me? And the answer is yes, I get a lot of takeaways. Your presentation had been a thumbs up. With this, wishing you all the best and thanking you for your attention here. So let me take you towards the closure. That's thank you and all the best.